Hey guys, Raven here. I've decided to create this video to help some of you that are either in planning mode or maybe panic mode, depends on your hike, regarding the B1, B2 visa. By no means, I'm no immigration expert for the US. This is just a general observation of myself. You should do your own due diligence and research, but this is from my own experience when I was planning and got my visa and hiked the PCT in 2018. So I know it's a stressful situation, and pretty much everything depends on that visa. It's pretty much a make it or break it scenario, because you can have all the gear, you can have the permit for the PCT, all of your stuff ready, but without the visa you're kind of screwed. So it is a big deal, and you should be prepared for that. So first things first, what you should have in mind is just the mindset. Why, it's not the why should you apply, but why are they asking so many questions? Basically, of course, you know that whether if you visited the US with the ESTA, or maybe, you know, the ESTA is the 3 months Europeans get upon arrival, or whether it's something else through a different kind of tourist visa, you've been in the States before. US immigration wants to know that you're going there for tourism, that you're not going to stay or overstay beyond that for business, for work, etc., and become illegal, which is just a headache for them. So they want to filter those kind of people. In other words, you need to come prepared and know your stuff very well before coming. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the questions you might be asked. But before that, maybe some of the papers you might want to carry with you to that interview. So fill up all the, pay the fee and fill up the stuff as you should. There's nothing to tell you about that. It's really straightforward. Write about the PCT, what's the purpose, etc. And pay the fee for the visa, fine. When you get to the date of the date of your interview, do not panic. You cannot bring anything with you to the interview itself or to the consulate. Most of the time you have to leave a bag or something like that in a different place, come almost like, I think, without your phone or something. Really, it's just papers you can carry with you or a book, but that's pretty much it. There are some services if you forgot last minute. Some services are you traveling on purpose, whether drop it with a friend or use some of these web apps to drop your bag for safe keeping. I forgot the name of those. I can leave it in the comments maybe if I'll find something that's suitable. But most importantly, just bring all of your important papers, your passport, your important papers, etc. with you. And what should you bring? So first of all, the paperwork that you got, the receipt and everything that the U.S. Embassy gave you after paying, and your appointment receipt. Other things that you should pay, but that's a given, they should take with you, is maybe your PCT permit, assuming that maybe you're applying very late. Don't apply too late, because if you're applying too late, that means you, first of all, have to panic with gear. Maybe you can't get the gear on time. Maybe if you're buying it from overseas, for the US, let's say to the UK, maybe the deals in terms of flights are a little bit higher. There's many things for you to consider if you're applying a little bit late. But just think about it, and you could, I did that myself. I applied when, just a little bit after I got my start date. So think about, I think December was, it was December when I applied for my visa, right after. So I got the date, but it was not confirmed. That's how the system works. They will confirm it one by one, and you'll receive it in some ambiguous time frame. You just know that you secured the date in a way, but they'll really send the confirmation later. I don't know if it's still the process this year and the years to come, but think about that. So take a screenshot of the email that you got from the PCTA saying that you have a date. Anything like fire permits, anything that it takes half a second to apply to, print those as well. Go to PCTplanner.com and print out all of the PCT plan. In other words, it's just one or two kind kind of like pages that shows exactly what is based on your speed or your approximated speed. How far will you go, and why do you need actually 6 months? Because these are one of the questions. Why do you need such a long visa? If you're European, why can't you just deal with the ESTA, which is 3 months? So they would like to know, where would you go? So great, the obvious answer is, I'm going to hike the PCT, but know your shit a little bit beyond that. What's in the PCT? What are the sections? The desert, great. I'm not talking about every specific city, because I didn't know that, and most people would not know that. But think about the sections. Well, I'm going to hike the desert, and after that the Sierra, and what's in the Sierra, and after that North Cal, and so on. So think about some sort of like key points along the way that could break your trip, assuming you'll have that question, and just the fact that you'll need all of that time to do that by foot. Who'll pay for the trip? That is a big one. They want to know that you have the funds, so bring your bank statement, maybe to show they have sufficient funds. If your parents are backing you up, bring something that, whether they'll come with you or maybe it's just a letter that they have transferred money to your bank account to show they have sufficient funds. Maybe you'll be asked to present that kind of proof. So who's going to sponsor the trip, and if you have enough money, and what place you'll visit. Do you have maybe an airline ticket? Did you buy one before or not? Most people would not, because if you don't have a visa, there's no reason to buy a ticket. But think about those kind of questions. Why would you, if you would, why would you stay? That's a mentality. That's what's in the mind of the immigration officer. What's in it for you to stay? Why would you like to go? Are you planning just to hike, or are you planning to kind of sneak out under the radar and go somewhere and settle? So if you have anything that bonds you to the place you live right now, whether it's an apartment, you have your own place, and you're just subletting it for your Airbnb it or subletting it for a short period of time, show that lease. That the lease is for a long period of time, so you have some commitment to go back to. Maybe you got like a waiver from work, and they would like to hire you. They would like to let's say not rehire you. Your job is still open. So they let you go for 6 months, and you can come back to your work, get a letter from your employer. So anything that shows you have bonds, a car, something like that, bring those documents with you so you can show, upon request of course, that you have the money, you know where you're going, you know what you're going to do there, and of course you have no plans to come back. You have plans to come back, and you have no plans to stay, because the whole purpose of this is just one trip that is a pretty long distance and long time to complete it. That's it. If you have any questions or any other advice, feel free to comment below for others. It worked for me, and it worked for so many other international hikers. I know it's stressful, but don't stress over it too much, because this is just the beginning, and you'll be fine, assuming that you'll gather all the material. Hope that helps. Cheers.